if you want to find inverse of a matrix, so this is what you have to use. Once again, you must know this guy, right? You must know, and I'll break down this thing in just a few seconds. So if you see in a sentence or any question that asks you to find the inverse of a matrix, right? So here, this is a symbol of what? A matrix. So maybe sometimes you can have it in a written form, or sometimes you can have it in a symbol form. So if you see this guy or this guy is the same as inverse of what? A matrix. So now it depends on the matrix that you are using. So this letter here is subject to change, right? So this thing can be any letter. Okay, now the most important thing that you must know this thing, that if it asks you to find the inverse of a matrix, it is 1 over this guy. This guy is what we call the determinant. You know this thing already. So this is the determinant. Now, once again, you must know how to find the determinants. So you must know how to find the determinant. Multiply by what? The adjoint of what? A matrix. So this is the adjoint here. So let's look at the meaning of the adjoint. This is the only thing that is missing that we have to know. So we know that this is just a 1, a constant 1. This is what a matrix, a determinant of this matrix. So now let's use a 2 by 2 to demonstrate this example. Let's get the meaning of the adjoint. So the adjoint, assuming you are having this matrix, you already have this matrix in the group, right? So assuming this is what a matrix 2 by 2 matrix that we are having, the adjoint here is that you should exchange these two guys, right? So these two guys here, you should exchange them. So if you are down, come to down. If you are top, then you go to top. So this guy will interchange. What I mean by the interchange is that you see that the negative one at the down here will go to the top, and whatever is here will come to the down. So here I'm having a negative 1 and then 1, right? So we are just swapping these two guys, and then you put a negative in front of the rest of the two, right? So the rest of these two guys, they are not changing. You are just placing negative in front of these two guys. Only these two guys are interchanging. Then you put a negative in front of. This is what we call the adjoint. Right. So this is just a definition. So from this example here, you can see that the negative one will go to the top, and then 1 will come to the down here. Exactly what I'm having here. And then here we'll put a negative in front of whichever number we are dealing with. So here is 2, 2. So here will be negative 2. Here also go negative 2. So this is what we call the adjoint. Now you just have to plug this into the definitions of what the inverse. So how do you find that? So the inverse is 1 over what the determinant. The determinant of this one is what? Negative 5. And then multiply by the adjoint. So this is the adjoint matrix, right? So that is very simple. So you can decide to divide this by whatever you are dealing with here. Right? So for 3 by 3, you have to know how to find the determinants of the matrix and the adjoint. And I'll leave that link in the description below.